All right, everybody, welcome back to my next little theory lesson. Hopefully by now you've watched the major scale, natural minor scale theory lesson, and you understand that the two scales on this board are relatives, meaning they share the same 7 notes, but they're starting on a different pitch. So what I wanted to show you today is one of the scales that we are going to use in our next unit where we start improvising and we start creating solos. And I was always the kid that wanted to know, why am I using this scale and where did it come from? Is it just a random set of notes that somebody made up, or is there some logic behind why these notes work? So I wanted to show you, this is your major scale right here. So we've got C to D as a whole step, D to E as a whole step, E to F as the half step, F to G as a whole step, G to A as a whole step, A to B as a whole step, B to C as a half step. So when we first start soloing, everyone's really scared of playing a wrong note. So if I saw a C major chord and I'm like, I know my C major scale, my first question is, are any of these notes going to sound bad? And the answer in short is no, they will all work, because if you have a C major chord and a C major scale, those two things go together perfectly. They are the same. One is just the melodic version and one is the harmonic version. However, there are certain notes that we can avoid because they will lead to kind of a tension or a dissonant sound. So for beginning soloists, or really if you want to get into rock and roll, this scale is used all the time, we look at where the half steps are and we start to say to ourselves, okay, so if the piano is playing a C, E, and a G, and I land on an F, that F is going to grind with the E. All right, so the first note that we can get rid of is actually the 4th. Okay, so I can completely get rid of the 4th note. So I've got C, whole step to D, whole step to E. Now we've got this big gap. Gaps are good because when the notes are farther apart, they don't grind with each other as much. So the next, we look over here, and this is another, look, this is the root just in the upper octave. And right below it, a half step below it, is a C. So if I landed on a B natural while the piano player or the guitar player was playing a C, it's going to grind. So we can actually get rid of the B natural as well, because I can't get rid of the C because it's a C chord. That leaves me with C, D, E, G, and A. If we were to number these notes from the original scale, that leaves me with the 1, the 2, the 3, the 5, and the 6 of the scale. All right, so those numbers are really important. This is called, the scale that we've just created, is called the C major pentatonic scale. And pentatonic very simply means 5-note scale. So we've got C, D, E, G, and A are the 5 different notes in the scale, and they create the C major pentatonic. Now, just like in our last lesson when we learned about relative majors, there's going to be a relative minor pentatonic. So I have my A minor scale down here, and if we do the same kind of process, if I'm playing an A, a C, and an E, and a G, right, we can get rid of the notes that grind with those important notes. So we can get rid of the B, which has that half-step grind with the C. We can get rid of the F, which has the half-step grind with the E. Now you might be saying to yourself, Mr. Myers, why did you get rid of the F and why didn't you get rid of the E? Because remember, every other note is what makes the chord. So the piano is going to be playing A, C, E, G. So I can't get rid of the E because it's being played by other instruments. So it's guaranteed to sound good if I play it, because now we're playing a note together. If I play the F, it's going to grind with that E. So if you notice, I got rid of the same 2 notes. I got rid of the F and the B here. I got rid of the B and the F here. And that leaves me with the 1st note, the 3rd note, the 4th note, the 5th note, and the 7th note of the minor scale. But if you actually look at this, these scales are exactly the same. It's just that one of them started on A. So look, C, D, E, G, A. C, D, E, G, A. The only difference to make it minor is I'm going to start that scale on an A. So this is your C major pentatonic scale, but it's also your A minor pentatonic scale. So when we get into our next unit and our next lesson, these are the scales that we're going to be using. They're just like your major scales, but we get rid of the 4th note and the 7th note in major, and we get rid of the 2nd note and the 6th note in minor. They just happen to be exactly the same. Hopefully this makes sense. If you have any questions, please email me or reach out to me on Canvas, and I will hopefully kind of be able to explain this a little bit better.